now listening to the Zay Moore podcast.
I want to know what Zay thinks
There's a
about
few
that.
things that we gotta address.
Black people got the swag. Black people set the trends. We are the culture. We got a reality star for our president. It's insane. Even if they try to erase black history out of schools, it's not going to erase black history. Because we've been here. Kendrick Lamar definitely beat Drake in that battle. Hands down. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep it real with my people. Because if we don't keep it real with each other, who will?
What's going on, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your boy, the one and only Zay Moore, and I want to welcome you back to a brand new episode of the Zay Moore podcast. Yeah. Today is Friday, October 10th, y'all, and as I promised yesterday, we got a few things to talk about. We got a few things to unpack. I want to thank everybody for joining me on today's show. As I did tell y'all yesterday, I had a little hiatus. Went to New York, got food poisoning. If you want to hear that story, go ahead and listen to the last pod. But we back, and let's go ahead and talk about some stuff. So I'm gonna go over some updates regarding Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the lawsuit that Drizzy Drake put out against Kendrick. We got some updates on that. Also have some updates on the singer David and some moves he's making amid, everything that's going on with the body that was found in the car registered to him. And last but not least, I do want to just briefly cover what's going on with Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl performance. So I'm glad y'all are joining me today. I hope y'all are ready to go down these rabbit holes. And we're going to talk about some entertainment news today. Y'all ready? All right. That's what I like to hear. Thank you for being here again, y'all. And let's go ahead and talk. Let's start with the Drake and Kendrick Lamar lawsuit. So, public knowledge, everyone knows that Drake, back in January of this year, he filed the lawsuit, not against Kendrick Lamar himself, but against UMG, Universal Music Group, alleging the label improperly promoted Not Like Us while knowing it contained false and harmful statements. Let's go ahead and listen to ABC News and get some updates on this. Then I'll be right back.
They not like us. They not like us.
It's the critically acclaimed hip-hop anthem at the center of one of the most famous rap beefs.
Years all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot.
And this morning, the legal battle over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, a diss track directed at fellow rap superstar Drake, could be near its end after a federal judge tossed Drake's defamation suit against his label, Universal Music Group, determining the song's lyrics in question are non-actionable opinion. Lamar, who is also represented by UMG, is not a defendant, but Drake asked the court to take a look at these lyrics.
Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1.
The judge categorizing the lyrics as dealing the metaphorical killing blow, but adding the broader context of a heated rap battle with incendiary language and offensive accusations hurled by both participants would not incline the reasonable listener to believe Not Like Us imparts verifiable facts.
A rap battle historically has always been between two rappers that exchange the most aggressive rhymes that they can in order to insult. What this means for culture going forward is that rap beats continually will be protected underneath the First Amendment and freedom of speech. This is a part of the culture of hip hop.
No lies told, all facts there. But yes, guys, a U.S. federal judge in Manhattan has dismissed Drake's defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us, as we just heard. Judge Janette Vargas held that the lyrics accusing Drake of being a pedophile are non-actionable opinion. In other words, that basically means the judge ruled it that a reasonable listener would not interpret the diss track as making verifiable factual claims. In her opinion, Judge Vargas emphasized that the dispute arose in the context of a heated rap battle and offensive accusations hurled, it was heard by both people, right? And we didn't see Kendrick run into the court. So, she reasoned that the broader context supports treating the lyrics as expressive rather than factual. And because of this dismissal, Drake's claims for damages, fees, or restrictions on UMG's continued promotion tied to the song are denied. Book closed, denied. Now, what's next? Drake's team has already said that they intend to appeal this dismissal. Just let it go. Just let the shit go. You lost, bro. Why are you appealing anything? It's just going to make it look worse and worse. Yo, Yo, this whole thing just smelled like maple syrup. The whole thing. Where's the waffles? Please, somebody pass me a plate of waffles. But anyway, even though the complaint is dismissed in this court, an appeal could actually revisit legal arguments around defamation, option versus fact, and artistic expression limits and diss tracks. The ruling reinforces a principle in U.S. First Amendment and defamation law. In many cases, highly rhetorical or hyperbolic statements in artistic works may not be actionable. For now, as of right now, the case is off the books at the trial level, but the legal battle may continue at the appeal stage. So yes, Drake and his team, they want to appeal it. They lost, and they just gonna keep going and making it worse. That's basically what this says. Like, bro, you lost. And in the history of rap battles, we've never seen someone take it to the courts. Like this is some real crazy maple syrup OVO type bullshit. Like, bro, just let it go. You still Drake. Kendrick is still Kendrick. You have, your fans who are going to stick by you. The only thing that I'll say that this might have affected on Drake's end, and this is just coming from a real point, is, credibility when it comes to hip hop is everything. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, in hip hop, you got to be a street banger to be accepted or to be respected. No, but there is a level of truth telling that comes with hip hop, right? The history of hip hop, it was really a form of expression, during a time where, they were trying to put our people down. You feel me? Hip hop was a way for us to reclaim a lot. So I think, if anything, this has hurt Drake's credibility when it comes to just how you're looked at in the world of hip hop on a street level. Because, bro, you lost and you still going. The judge threw the shit out and you still going. Maple syrup, like I said, maple syrup. But that is the updates on the Drake and Kendrick situation. We're gonna follow it because I'm real curious to see what is gonna happen once they start the appeal process. I'm pretty sure unless some payola is involved or they get someone who's a Drake fan, any other judge that you get to look at this is gonna say the same thing. Like, yo, bro, you lost. It was already deemed, you feel me? It was deemed non-actionable. So I'm not wasting my time taking this to trial again. We're not opening this up, bro. Just get back in the booth. That's what I would tell him if I was a judge. I would literally say that. But yeah, we will keep our eyes on this story. And once I get some updates, I'll definitely be back at it with y'all for sure. All right, y'all. So moving on. Let's talk about singer David. I know a couple of weeks ago, actually, it's about a month ago now, back on September 8th, the body of Celeste Rivera Hernandez was discovered in the trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David. And police were alerted by a foul odor at the Hollywood tow yard where they found the decomposing remains of the 15-year-old girl. So recently, according to TMZ here, it looks like David has transferred some ownership deeds, y'all. Very ironic, right? The timing. So according to TMZ, David transferred the ownership deeds of 2 homes in the Houston, Texas area to his mother. The deed transfers were executed on September 18th and September 22nd. One of the transfers occurred the same day as a reporting swatting incident at one of the properties where authorities were falsely alerted to a shooting and a dead female victim. The homes were held in a trust called Thorn Rose Trust, which appears to be tied to David. The name Thorn Rose echoes his EP, Petals to Thorns, just for some context. Media outlets categorized the move as urgent or strategic, given its timing related to the discovery of the decomposing body and David's Tesla. Yeah. So what does this mean, right? What does this mean for David, or what does this insinuate? So far, no official charges have been filed against David in connection with the death investigation. That's crazy. Well, then again, it's not crazy, right? Because you do have to do your due diligence. Just because you found the body registered to him, that doesn't necessarily mean that he did anything. and I know it sounds crazy, right? But especially in the world of journalism, I've learned, right? You don't want to put anything on anyone yet until you have proof. And although we have a lot of things that point, towards something, we don't have any concrete proof. So that's why I say, it's not far-fetched, now that I think about it, that no official charges have been filed. However, the timing and nature of the transfers have raised suspicion among observers, especially since they occurred days after the body was discovered in his car. And again, those transfers occurred on September 18th and 22nd, so about maybe 2 weeks after. There's no public evidence yet confirming that the transfers were done to obstruct investigation or for illicit reasons. The fact the homes were transferred into a trust belonging to his mother does raise potential legal questions about asset protection, concealment, or shielding, but such moves are not inherently illegal and would depend on intent, timing, and legal context. So that's where we are now with that. I just wanted to cover that quickly because I thought it was kind of ironic, right? Why are you moving things in your mom's name, right? It kind of gives off the insinuation that you do want to protect things by moving it or disassociating it with your name, right? Because why else would you move it to your mother's name? Yeah, that's something to consider, because you're not going through a divorce settlement. You feel me? I don't know if you're gifting it to someone. If you gifting a property, I know that can sometimes be part of a larger tax strategy, right? So, are you tax planning? Like, are you trying to avoid a probate? Like, why would you put it in your mother's name? You feel me? And given the context of the situation, asset protection would be the only thing that makes sense, right? You transfer a property to a trust or a separate entity that can help protect it from other legal things that you got going on. So that would be the only logical assumption. But again, all we can do is assume until we get facts. So I will leave it there because we don't want to go crazy with the assumptions. I never like to do that. Once I do get some more concrete news, or if something else breaks, I'll be back and we'll talk about it. So this week is a special week, by the way, for anyone who is affiliated or knows anything about HBCU culture. North Carolina A&T, which is my HBCU, this week is our homecoming. So to all my A&T listeners, I want to say happy G-Ho, happy homecoming, Aggie Pride all day, every day. It's definitely a event. It just draws a big week-long celebration. Football game, we got alumni coming in, students, community parties. It's always a good time. So I hope everybody has a great homecoming week. Y'all be safe out there. If you drinking, listen to my last pod. I'm telling you, you don't want alcohol poisoning. So make sure you eat something before you out there having a good time with all that liquor. But yeah, happy G-Ho. So next up, we're going to talk about Bad Bunny. So y'all know Bad Bunny, he was announced as the headliner for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show at Levi's Stadium in Santa Carla, California. The decision has sparked intense controversy from conservative commentators and political figures. Of course it has, right? They're mad about everything. They always mad. Critics have attacked various aspects. One is that he sings mostly in Spanish and that he's politically outspoken. And in some cases, they've questioned his American identity, despite the fact that he is from Puerto Rico and U.S. are citizens. Like, duh. Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, of course, stated that ICE agents would be all over, and I quote, the Super Bowl event, insisting only law-abiding Americans should attend. That's crazy. In response, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt later stated that there was no firm plan for widespread ICE deployment at the Super Bowl, though ICE agents would still enforce existing laws. Bad Bunny himself addressed the comments during his Saturday Night Live monologue, which I still need to check out, mocking critics and reaffirming his identity and message. Some political and cultural pushback includes from Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, publicly called Bad Bunny a terrible choice for halftime, saying he didn't appeal to a broader audience, and suggested an 82-year-old country singer named Lee Greenwood, who I've never heard of. So if we're talking about broad, if I ain't heard of him, then Lee Greenwood wouldn't be a good fit either if you got something against Bad Bunny, because who the fuck is Lee Greenwood? But anyway, moving on with the story, Turning Point USA, a conservative group, announced plans for a competing broadcast called the All American Halftime Show as a counter-programming effort. Their promotion emphasizes faith, freedom, and family. There they go again, politicizing faith. It's crazy. And music in English. Crazy. Yo, the pettiness of it all is funny. It's so petty. Because it's a clear direct at Bad Bunny Spanish emphasis. It's a clear direct. The backlash has involved critics of culture, language, race, identity, and what American entertainment should look like. All right, so what do I think about this? I think Bad Bunny should be left alone. I think his U.S. sales, if you take a look at, how well he's doing, it's clear that he has a U.S. following and people do like his music. His recent album sold over 1 million units, and his previous album sold over 3.4 million units within the U.S. Also, his latest tour also sold more than 2.6 million tickets in the U.S. in its first week. So when we talk about what American entertainment should look like, I would have to argue that he should be considered that, right? Because he has a following. People here in the U.S. do like his music. I've been out to bars here in the South and in New York and have heard his music, and not just in Spanish bars, because I do go to Spanish bars sometimes, but I hear his music all over the place. So that's one thing. Secondly, I wanted to note that when we talk about American culture, that often reflects the diversity and the values of American society. So as much as, our government is trying to diminish culture, other than what, they deem American culture, it goes without saying that I think one of the best things about the U.S. is the different types of people we have here. And Bad Bunny would represent a large majority of those people, and I think that this would be groundbreaking. It is groundbreaking, because I think he's one of the first artists of his kind to lead a Super Bowl. So why not allow them to have that representation? Why not allow Bad Bunny to perform? Why not allow his fans to come and not have to look over their shoulder with their head on a swivel, worrying if an agent and the ski mask is going to come up and sweep them up? Like, why? You feel me? Why make things more difficult? I think it's terrible. Some of these videos that's going around social media, just dragging people from their homes, dragging people from their families. It's disgusting. And again, yes, anyone who is here not doing right and, causing the crime rate to go up, doing things they shouldn't be doing illegally, yeah, get them out of here. But I really think that there should just be more of an effort into making sure that we're not treating everyone like animals. We're not treating everyone like criminals, because everyone isn't a criminal. Everyone isn't an animal, and it's just whack, man. It's just whack. I believe I read somewhere that by August of this year, ICE had about 61,226 people in detentions, which is a historic high. And their network is moving. It seems to be moving really fast because they're spanning across 50 states and territories. They've also resumed and expanded family detention programs and reopened previously unused facilities. So, they're gearing up to get more people. It's ridiculous. I think that, I should be focusing on serious offenses. I think that's what they need to do. They need to prioritize, threats to national security and violent crimes. Y'all are out here targeting families and workers, long-term residents for what? Prioritize those threats. You feel me? This shift could rebuild community trust and reduce unnecessary trauma. You feel me? If y'all are going for where the real problem is, I mean, going to where the real problems are instead of just running up on people based on how they look. I also think that they need to, get some training and some cultural competency. I think that it should be a requirement that the people y'all are hiring go through de-escalation and cultural sensitivity training. I feel like that's important because, it gives you a sense of morality and direction. I feel, right? If the situation gets out of control, you know what to do on a skillful level versus on an emotional or a bias level. I think all that needs to be implemented for these people that they're throwing out there, because again, a lot of these people just were looking for a chance to exercise their hate, and they applied for the job, they got it, and now they out there just looking for people to grab. I think that is the total opposite of what I should be doing, for real. So to close, I'll just say that reform doesn't necessarily mean abolition, y'all. Doesn't necessarily mean abolition, but for these ICE agents to regain credibility, it really needs to center around humanity, transparency, and justice, not just enforcement. So, I wish Bad Bunny well. I hope he has a great show, and I hope everyone who goes to see him is able to enjoy his show and, get home to their family, for real. But we're going to follow this, and we'll be back once there's some more updates, if there are any updates. But y'all know what that sound means, man. That means we made it to the end of the episode. Go ahead and give yourself a clap. Now, give me a clap. Yeah. Now, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Zaymo podcast today. Y'all know I appreciate it. Got to remind y'all to follow me at the Zayfiles_ on Instagram, the Zaymo podcast on Instagram, so you can stay up to date on all the latest. And yeah, man, again, I'm happy to be back here with my people. Shout out to everyone listening in all the countries worldwide, all the cities, all the states. I really appreciate you guys. We got a new segment coming soon, by the way, called Ask Zay. So make sure y'all ready for that. If you got anything you want me to give you advice on, or you got a question, just something you want to talk about, send it to me in an email. I'll definitely go ahead and bring it to the show. But again, y'all, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for always being there and listening. And until next time, peace.